You are broken. And you know it. You can feel it in the quiet moments when the screens are off and the noise of the world subsides. There is a fracture within you, a dissonance between the life you are living and the life you know you are capable of. You feel it as a low-grade anxiety, a persistent dissatisfaction, a sense of being adrift in a sea of meaningless activity. You have tried to fix it. You have bought the books, downloaded the apps, attended the seminars. You have tried positive thinking. You have tried gratitude journals. You have tried manifesting a better reality. And yet, the fracture remains. Why? Because you have been applying gentle bandages to a wound that requires brutal surgery. You have been trying to polish the surface while the foundation rots. You are looking for a comfortable solution to a problem that demands uncomfortable, agonizing work. It is time to stop the self-deception. It is time to abandon the gentle path and walk the hard road. It is time to embrace a philosophy that does not coddle your weaknesses but forges your strengths. It is time for Stoicism. Not the watered-down, Instagram-friendly version of Stoicism, but the original, raw and unforgiving discipline practiced in the streets of Rome and the halls of power by men who faced exile, execution, and the relentless decay of their own bodies. This is not a guide to feeling better. This is a manual for becoming better. These are 10 brutal rules. They are not suggestions. They are commands you must give yourself if you truly wish to fix your mind and, in doing so, fix your life. Ignore them at your peril, embrace them, and you will begin the painful, glorious process of resurrecting yourself from the ruins of your own making. The first and most fundamental rule is this: cease your complaining. It is an act of cowardice and you must annihilate it from your being. Every time you complain about the traffic, about the weather, about your boss, about the government, you are engaging in a pathetic ritual of self-indulgence. You are proclaiming to the world and to yourself that you are a victim. You are a slave chained to a chariot, and you are weeping about the direction it is taking when your only duty is to ride with dignity. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, a man who understood true hardship, having been born a slave, was merciless on this point. He taught that the primary cause of human misery is not the events that happen to us, but our judgments about those events. The traffic is not the problem. Your belief that you are entitled to a smooth, unimpeded journey is the problem. Your boss is not the problem. Your belief that his approval is necessary for your well-being is the problem. Complaining is the symptom of a diseased mind, a mind that believes its happiness is dependent on external circumstances, which it can never fully control. It is an abdication of your primary responsibility, the governance of your own soul. So here is your first brutal task. For 1 week you will not complain. Not out loud, not in your head. You will become a silent sentinel, guarding your own thoughts. When the urge to complain arises, and it will, you will stop and ask yourself this brutal question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, and it almost always is, you will dismiss the thought. You will not indulge it. You will not give it life. You will treat it as the poison it is. You will replace it with a single, powerful thought. This is the reality of the moment. How will I respond with virtue? This practice is not easy. It will feel like you are tearing off a part of your own identity. But the part you are tearing away is the part that keeps you weak, the part that tells you that you are not responsible. By ceasing to complain, you take the first terrifying and liberating step towards radical ownership of your life. You stop waiting for the world to change and begin the only work that has ever mattered, changing yourself. Once you have stopped blaming the world, you must face the next brutal truth, which is the second rule. Embrace the obstacle. Do not tolerate it. Do not endure it. Do not simply overcome it. You must love it. You must see every challenge, every setback, every frustration, every person who wrongs you, not as a barrier to your goals, but as the very material you will use to build your character. The modern world teaches you to avoid difficulty at all costs. It sells you comfort, convenience, and a frictionless existence. This is a recipe for a fragile, pathetic human being. Strength is not born from ease. It is forged in the fire of resistance. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, who faced plague, war, and betrayal, wrote that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is not a clever aphorism, it is a fundamental law of human nature. A muscle does not grow without being torn down by resistance. A mind does not gain clarity without being tested by confusion. A spirit does not acquire resilience without being battered by adversity. Your problems are not your problems, they are your training ground. That difficult project at work is not a source of stress, it is your arena to practice excellence, patience, and creativity. That argument with your partner is not a threat to your happiness, it is your gymnasium for practicing empathy, self-control, and wisdom. That illness is not a curse, it is a crucible for practicing courage and gratitude for the breath you still have. To embrace the obstacle is to perform a profound alchemical transformation. You take the lead of hardship and you turn it into the gold of virtue. So your task is this. The next time you are faced with a significant obstacle, you will not sigh or despair. You will quiet your mind and you will say, "This is it. This is my opportunity." You will actively search for the virtue it is demanding of you. Is it calling for your courage, your patience, your humility, your creativity? You will then meet the challenge not with reluctance, but with a grim, joyful determination. You will see it as a gift from the universe, a tailor-made test designed specifically for your growth. This mindset shift is absolute. It reorients you from a passive victim of circumstance to an active participant in your own development. You stop praying for an easy life and start praying for the strength to handle a difficult one, and in doing so, you discover that you were praying for the same thing all along. This leads to the third and perhaps most uncomfortable rule. Practice poverty. You are terrified of losing what you have. Your comfort, your security, your possessions, your status. This fear is a silent parasite that eats away at your peace, forcing you to live in a state of low-grade anxiety. You are so afraid of the wolf at the door that you can never truly enjoy the warmth of your own fire. The Stoics understood this poison and prescribed a brutal antidote, voluntary discomfort. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, would regularly set aside days to live as if he were poor. He would wear coarse clothes, eat simple food, and sleep on a hard bed. Why? Was he insane? No. He was training. He was inoculating himself against the fear of loss. He knew that the only way to be truly free from the fear of misfortune was to become familiar with it. By choosing it for a short time, he proved to himself that he could survive it. He stripped away the non-essentials and discovered that his happiness did not depend on fine wine or a soft bed. It depended on his own mind. You, in your modern comfort, are more fragile than Seneca ever was. You panic if the internet is slow for 5 minutes. You feel a sense of loss if your favorite coffee shop is closed. You are addicted to comfort, and like any addiction, it is making you weak. So you will follow this rule. You will intentionally seek out discomfort. You will take a cold shower. You will fast for a day. You will go for a run in the pouring rain. You will leave your phone at home for a day. You will wear your least comfortable clothes. You will do this not as a punishment, but as a rehearsal. You are rehearsing for hardship. You are showing your mind that you are tougher than your circumstances. You are sending a powerful message: I am not a slave to my comfort. I am the master of my soul. Each time you voluntarily embrace discomfort, you expand your capacity for resilience. You chip away at the fear of what might happen because you have already shown yourself that you can handle it. This practice will make you harder, stronger, and profoundly more grateful for the comforts you do have, not because you feel entitled to them, but because you know you can do without them. The fourth rule is a truth that most people spend their entire lives running from. Remember, you will die. Memento Mori. This is not meant to be a morbid or depressing thought. It is meant to be the most exhilarating and clarifying truth you can ever hold in your mind. You are going to die. The people you love are going to die. Your achievements, your possessions, your reputation, it will all turn to dust. This is not a tragedy, it is a fact. And facing this fact head-on is the ultimate cure for a life wasted on trivialities. You live as if you have an infinite supply of time. You postpone joy. You postpone difficult conversations. You postpone the work you were meant to do. You tell yourself, someday I will travel. Someday I will reconcile with that person. Someday I will start that project. You are living on credit, borrowing time from a future that is not guaranteed. The awareness of death is the ultimate filter. It strips away everything that is not essential. When you truly internalize the fact that this moment could be your last, your priorities snap into focus with brutal clarity. Does that argument with a coworker really matter? Does spending 3 hours scrolling through social media honor the precious fleeting gift of your consciousness? Does living in fear and hesitation serve the one life you know you have? No. The Stoics kept this thought at the forefront of their minds. Marcus Aurelius would write to himself that he could leave life at any moment, so he should act accordingly. This is your task. You will not just think about death occasionally, you will actively meditate on it. Look at old photographs of your ancestors, visit a cemetery, contemplate the vastness of cosmic time and the brief flicker of your own existence. Let it terrify you. Then let that terror transform into a fierce, urgent desire to live fully, to live virtuously, to live right now. This rule will annihilate your procrastination. It will destroy your tolerance for nonsense. It will force you to ask, every single day, if this were my last day, how would I want to spend it? The answer to that question is your true north. Stop running from your mortality. Run towards it. Let it sharpen you, purify you, and ignite you with the fire of a life lived with purpose and presence. The fifth rule is the natural culmination of the previous ones. Love your fate. Amor Fati. This is the summit of Stoic practice, and it is utterly unforgiving. It demands not just acceptance of what happens, but an active, willful love for it. It means looking at every single event in your life without exception and saying, this is what was necessary, this is good. This sounds impossible. How can you love illness? How can you love betrayal? How can you love failure? The Stoic answer is that you do not love the pain of the event, but you love its place in the grand tapestry of your life. You love it because it is the very thing that makes you stronger, wiser, and more complete. Nietzsche, who was deeply influenced by Stoicism, called this idea his formula for greatness in a human being. It is the idea that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. This is the ultimate expression of the dichotomy of control. You do not just accept what you cannot control, you embrace it as your own. You make it your ally. When something terrible happens, your first instinct is to resist it, to rage against it, to wish it had not happened. This resistance is the source of immense suffering. It is like trying to swim against a raging river. You will only exhaust yourself and drown. To love your fate is to turn around and swim with the current, using its immense power to propel you forward. You see the event not as a random curse, but as a necessary part of your story. The illness taught you compassion. The betrayal taught you self-reliance. The failure taught you humility. You would not be who you are today without those scars, so you must love them. Your task is to practice this on the small things first. You missed the bus. Instead of cursing, say to yourself, good. Now I have an extra 10 minutes to walk and think. You spill coffee on your shirt. Good. A reminder to be less clumsy and more present. You practice this until it becomes a reflex. Then you apply it to the bigger things. You face a major setback. You take a deep breath and you whisper, I will love this thing. I will find the strength it demands of me, and I will be grateful for it. This is not passive resignation. It is an act of supreme power. It is the declaration that nothing and no one can break your spirit, because you have the power to transform every single event into fuel for your growth. You become an artist, and your life is your masterpiece, painted with the colors of both joy and sorrow. The sixth rule will challenge your deepest instincts. Judge no one, not even yourself. You are a judgment machine. You constantly evaluate the actions, intentions, and worth of others. You judge your colleagues, your friends, your family, the people on the news. This constant stream of judgment is a poison that corrodes your own mind. It fills you with anger, indignation, and a false sense of superiority. More importantly, it is a profound waste of your energy. The Stoics understood that other people's actions are, for the most part, outside of our control. What is within our control is our judgment of those actions. When you judge someone else, you are surrendering your own peace to their behavior. You are allowing their actions, which you cannot change, to dictate your inner state. Epictetus taught that when we are disturbed or angry, it is not the person or the act that disturbs us, but our opinion of it. We are the ones who choose to apply the label of wrong or unjust and then work ourselves into a frenzy about it. Furthermore, you do not know the full story. You do not know the struggles, the fears, the ignorance that drive another person's actions. To judge them is to assume a godlike perspective you do not possess. The truly brutal part of this rule is judging yourself. You are your own harshest critic. You replay your mistakes, you dwell on your flaws, you beat yourself up for not being perfect. This self-flagellation serves no purpose. It does not correct the past, and it only paralyzes you in the present. The Stoic approach is not to ignore your mistakes, but to examine them with dispassion, learn from them, and move on. The task is this. You will go on a judgment fast. For a set period, you will simply refuse to engage in judgment of others. When you find yourself starting to judge, you will stop and remind yourself, this is their path. My concern is my own. You will focus instead on what you can control, your own response. Can you act with kindness? Can you act with justice? Can you act with wisdom, regardless of what they do? As for yourself, when you make a mistake, you will not call yourself an idiot or a failure. You will say, that was an unwise action. What did I learn? How will I act differently next time? You treat yourself as a student, not a criminal. By ceasing to judge, you free up an immense amount of mental and emotional energy. You stop polluting your mind with toxic opinions about others and yourself. You create a space of inner quiet where true wisdom can grow. You become an observer of life, not a prosecutor, and in that role, you find a profound and unshakable peace. The seventh rule attacks the very engine of most human suffering: desire less. You are a creature of insatiable desire. You believe that happiness lies in the next acquisition, the next achievement, the next experience. You think, if only I had that job, that house, that relationship, then I would be happy. This is the fundamental delusion of the untrained mind. The Stoics identified desire as a primary source of misery. They made a crucial distinction between what is good, what is bad, and what is indifferent. The only true good is virtue. The only true bad is vice. Everything else, wealth, health, reputation, pleasure, pain, is what they called preferred indifference. It is preferable to be healthy than sick, to be wealthy than poor, but these things have no bearing on your moral character or your ultimate happiness. Your problem is that you treat these indifferent things as if they are the ultimate good. You build your life around the pursuit of them, and so you become a slave to them. You are happy when you get them and miserable when you lose them. Your emotional state is as unstable as the external world. This is a recipe for a life of perpetual anxiety and disappointment. The brutal truth is that you will never achieve lasting happiness by satisfying your desires, because for every desire you satisfy, 10 more will spring up to take its place. It is a hydra that cannot be slain. The only way to win the game is to stop playing. Your task is to systematically dismantle your desires. You will start by observing them. When a desire arises, you will not immediately act on it. You will examine it. Ask yourself, is this thing necessary for my tranquility? Is it necessary for me to be a good person? What will happen if I do not get it? You will practice the art of wanting what you already have. Instead of focusing on what is missing from your life, you will focus, with intense gratitude, on what is present. The fact that you can breathe, that you can think, that you have another day to try. You will practice finding joy in the simplest things, not as a platitude, but as a disciplined practice. By consciously choosing to desire less, you become invulnerable. You are no longer a puppet of circumstance. A person who desires nothing is a person who cannot be threatened. They cannot be controlled. They are free. This is not about living a life of ascetic poverty unless you choose that. It is about understanding where your true wealth lies. Your wealth is not in your bank account, it is in your character. Your security is not in your possessions, it is in your unshakable mind. By wanting less, you gain everything. The eighth rule is a discipline of action and speech. Speak less, and when you speak, speak well. You live in a world of constant noise. Social media, 24-hour news, podcasts, endless chatter. You have been conditioned to believe that you must have an opinion on everything, that you must express yourself constantly, that your voice must be heard. This is a trap. It encourages a shallow, reactive mind. It prioritizes performative emotion over thoughtful consideration. The Stoics valued silence and measured speech. They understood that every word has a consequence, and that idle talk is a waste of a precious resource, your time and attention. Marcus Aurelius advised to be silent for the most part, or, if you speak, say only what is necessary and in a few words. This is not about being antisocial, it is about being intentional. Before you speak, you must ask yourself, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If the answer to any of these is no, your duty is to remain silent. This rule is especially brutal in the age of online commentary, where everyone is screaming into the void. You must resist the urge to engage in pointless arguments, to share your uninformed opinion, to add to the noise. Your energy is finite. Every moment you spend arguing with a stranger on the internet is a moment you are not spending improving yourself, connecting with a loved one, or simply being present. Furthermore, you must stop the constant internal chatter, the running commentary of judgment and complaint that we have already discussed. Your mind should be a clear, still lake, not a turbulent river. The practice of silence extends to your actions as well. Do not make grand pronouncements about your intentions, simply do the work. Let your actions speak for you. Your character is not what you say it is what you do, day in and day out, when no one is watching. So your task is this. You will practice silence. You will have entire meals where you do not speak, but simply observe and listen. You will turn off the news and the podcasts and sit in silence for 10 minutes a day. You will think twice before you post anything online, asking yourself if it adds value or just adds to the noise. You will listen more than you speak in your conversations, truly seeking to understand rather than waiting for your turn to talk. In this discipline of silence and intentional speech, you will find a new kind of power. You will be seen as someone who is thoughtful and deliberate. Your words, when you do choose to speak, will carry more weight. More importantly, you will conserve your precious energy for the only work that truly matters: the cultivation of your own mind and soul. The ninth rule is a proactive and terrifying mental exercise. Prepare for the worst. This is the practice of Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. This is the polar opposite of the modern cult of toxic positivity, which insists you must only think happy thoughts and visualize success. The Stoics knew this to be a fragile and dangerous strategy. To build a truly resilient mind, you must do the opposite. You must regularly and systematically imagine the worst-case scenarios that could befall you. You must visualize in vivid detail losing your job, your health, your reputation, your loved ones. This sounds morbid and pessimistic, but its purpose is not to make you depressed or anxious. Its purpose is to prepare you and to inoculate you against the shock of adversity. By thinking about these things in advance, in the calm of your own mind, you strip them of their power to surprise and terrify you when they actually happen. You have already been there. You have already grieved the loss. You have already thought about how you would respond. Seneca advised that we should live as if all the things we value were already on the brink of being taken from us. When you kiss your child, you should remind yourself that they are mortal, not to be morbid, but to make the kiss more profound, more present. When you enjoy your home, you should occasionally imagine it being destroyed by fire, not to be a pessimist, but to make you more grateful for it right now. This practice achieves two things. First, it is a powerful tool for gratitude. By contemplating the loss of what you have, you appreciate it infinitely more in the present moment. Second, it is the ultimate form of mental preparation. If you have already considered how you would handle being fired, you are not caught off guard. You can immediately shift into problem-solving mode. You have a plan. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are a prepared strategist. Your task is to incorporate this into your daily or weekly routine. Set aside 10 minutes. Sit quietly and imagine one of your greatest fears happening. Do not shy away from the details. Feel the emotions. Then, take a deep breath and start thinking rationally. Okay, this has happened. What is my first step? Who can I call? What resources do I have? How can I act with virtue in this situation? You are rehearsing your response to disaster. You are building your mental armor. This practice will make you calmer, more courageous, and less prone to panic. You will face the uncertainties of life not with a naive optimism, but with a hardened, realistic confidence that you can handle whatever the world throws at you, because you have already faced it in your mind. The final and most urgent rule is this: your time is now. Stop postponing your life. You are a master of procrastination. You have a million excuses for why you cannot start today. You are too tired, too busy, not ready, waiting for the right moment. You are waiting for a sign, for a perfect plan, for a guarantee of success. None of that is coming. The universe does not care about your comfort or your readiness. It only offers you this one fleeting, irretrievable moment now. The Stoics had a profound sense of urgency. They understood that life is short and that every moment wasted is a moment you can never get back. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. What are you dyeing your soul with right now? Is it with purposeful action or with mindless distraction? Is it with virtue or with vice? The life you want to live, the person you want to become, does not start someday. It starts with the very next breath you take. The decision to be patient, to be courageous, to be disciplined, to be kind, is made in the present moment. You do not become a Stoic by reading a book. You become a Stoic by acting like one, right now, in this very situation. This rule is the most brutal because it annihilates all your excuses. It demands immediate action. It tells you that the perfect time you are waiting for is a fantasy. The only time you have is the one you are currently in. Your task is to identify the one thing you have been postponing. The one thing you know you need to do for your physical health, your mental well-being, your relationships, or your work. The one thing that scares you. You will not make an elaborate plan. You will not wait until Monday morning. You will take the smallest possible step towards it right now. If you want to write a book, you will write one sentence. If you want to get in shape, you will do 10 push-ups. If you need to have a difficult conversation, you will pick up the phone and schedule it. You will break the spell of inaction with a single small immediate act. You will do this again and again, day after day. You will stop waiting for motivation to strike and you will start creating it through action. This is how you fix your life. Not with a grand future transformation, but with 1,000 small, present moment victories. You must treat your time as the most precious resource you possess, because it is. Every moment you spend in a state of passive waiting is a moment you are throwing away. Seize this moment. It is all you have. And in it lies the entire power to change everything. These 10 rules are not a path to an easy life. They are a path to a strong life. They are a declaration of war on the weak, complacent and fearful parts of yourself. They demand a level of honesty and discipline that is rare in this age of comfort and distraction. To follow them is to choose the hard road. It is to choose the pain of growth over the comfort of stagnation. It is to choose the responsibility of freedom over the security of servitude. But the reward for this brutal work is beyond measure. It is the unshakable peace of a mind that is its own master. It is the quiet confidence of a soul that is fortified against the whims of fortune. It is the profound joy of a life lived with purpose, integrity and presence. You can continue as you are, fractured and adrift, complaining about the weather and waiting for a future that will never satisfy you. Or you can begin right now. You can take the first rule and make it your own. You can stop complaining. You can embrace the obstacle in front of you. You can begin the painful, glorious and absolutely essential work of fixing your mind. And in doing so, you will finally, truly fix your life. The choice, as always, is yours.